Imagine standing on a rocky cliff with waves crashing violently beneath you, the salty air chilling your bones. Have you ever noticed how lighthouses, while meant to represent safety, often carry an eerie aura? Tonight, we dive into the chilling tale of the Midnight Lighthouse Mystery, a ghost story that will have you questioning every light you see in the distance. It begins in a small coastal town called Mariner's Point, where a mighty lighthouse stood as its silent guardian. For over a century, it warned sailors of the perilous rocks hidden beneath the waves. Accompanied by the unceasing cries of seagulls and the roar of the ocean, it shone brightly. Until one ominous stormy night 6 years ago, its beam unexpectedly vanished. The keeper, Edgar Gray, an enigmatic man with mysterious past ties to the sea, had also disappeared. The townsfolk searched extensively, but Edgar was never seen again. They concluded he must have fallen victim to the storm, thrown from the lighthouse into the merciless waters below. Or so they thought. 3 months after Edgar's disappearance, whispers began circulating. Not the wind this time, but among the residents. Lone fisherman Lars Hansen was the first to mention it. "I swears I saw the light from the lighthouse again," he insisted, trembling in fear at the local pub. "But no one lives there anymore. Ain't no keepers assigned since Edgar's gone." Scoffs answered him. Many dismissed it as drunkard's talk. Yet one by one, others admitted witnessing a peculiar beam cutting through the night sky, as if the unseen lighthouse keeper was tending to his duties from beyond the grave. Amateur ghost hunters and curious teenagers arrived in droves. But there was one rule even they dared not break. Nobody approached the lighthouse past midnight. They claimed it was cursed. Those who did venture too close reported strange phenomena: footsteps echoing on an empty staircase, whispers carried by the wind, and, most chillingly, the persistent ticking sound of an old clock, growing louder as they neared the top. But it wasn't until a traveler, Maeve Templeton, came through Mariner's Point that the story took its most terrifying turn. You see, Maeve wasn't like the others. An avid investigator of supernatural tales, she scoffed at warnings and resolved to uncover the truth. On a brisk October night, armed with a flashlight, an audio recorder, and boundless curiosity, Maeve made her way to the desolate lighthouse. Her breath misted in the cold air as she wrestled with the rusty door, finally forcing it open. What greeted her wasn't just the damp, musty smell of abandoned stone, but also the faint sound of ticking. It was unmistakable. Indoor spiral stairs stretched endlessly upward. Undeterred, Maeve began climbing, each step groaning under her weight. As she ascended, she noticed something odd. The timbre of the ticking grew sharper, more precise. Halfway up, she paused to catch her breath, only for a horrifying realization to settle over her. The ticking was now echoing from every direction, and then came a whisper, cold and deliberate, calling her name. "Maeve, turn back." Most would have fled, but not Maeve. Bracing herself, she continued upward. Nearing the lantern room, Maeve's flashlight flickered once, twice, and then extinguished. She was plunged into impenetrable darkness. Her quickened breathing filled the void until, suddenly, the immense space ignited with an unnatural greenish glow. Suspended in the lantern room was the spectral outline of Edgar Gray. His translucent figure was hunched over an old analog clock. His movements were methodical, as if resetting time itself. "You shouldn't be here," Edgar's ghost rasped, turning toward Maeve. His face carried the burden of grief and something more sinister. The clock must keep ticking. It binds us all. He reached out a ghostly hand, long and skeletal, and that was the last thing Maeve remembered before waking up on the jagged cliffs. Hours of her memory erased, only the cold and crashing waves greeting her return to reality. Her audio recorder, missing, her flashlight, shattered. The townsfolk found Maeve wandering at dawn. Wide-eyed and pale, she uttered only one clear warning. The midnight light isn't a guide. It's a trap. Whatever you do, don't let the clock stop. But what does that even mean? To this day, people swear they see the lighthouse beam cutting through thick mist when the moon is at its highest. And just as quickly, it vanishes, leaving nothing but the unbroken waves and the mystery behind Edgar Gray's untimely fate. Next time you see a lighthouse glowing faintly in the distance, ask yourself, who's behind the light? And more importantly, are they alive? Was it Edgar Gray tending the lantern from beyond? Or something far darker, keeping the clock of time running for sinister purposes? Maybe you'll be the one to find out. But be warned, paranormal events may happen when curiosity gets the better of us. Stay tuned for next week's episode of Spooky Tales Unveiled, where more mysteries await. Sweet dreams, if you can sleep.